Each state and territory in Australia have got their own plans for bringing international students back in Australia. And sometimes all this information can be mind-blowing, literally. So in this video, we are going to talk about everything we know so far about all these international student arrival plans by different states and territories. So let's start off the things with the biggest state in Australia, which is New South Wales. Now it goes without saying that New South Wales has been leading the way in regards to opening up Australia's international borders, especially the announcement of the November 1, where international travelers, which is Australian citizens and permanent resident holders at the moment, will be able to arrive without needing to do quarantine. And now Victoria has adopted the same strategy and allowing Australian travelers to come back without needing to do quarantine as well from November 1. So let's talk about international students' arrival now. So international students in New South Wales are expected to arrive from late November or early December 2021. At the start of these arrivals, it is expected around 250 students will be arriving each fortnight, with the numbers obviously progressively increasing over time. Now obviously students must be fully vaccinated when arriving in New South Wales, and no specific priority has been given to any sort of student groups. Students will be chosen by the universities. Students returning back under this plan in New South Wales will need to do a quarantine in a purpose-built student accommodation that has been chosen by the New South Wales government as a quarantine hub for international students. Now the next state is Victoria. So international students in Victoria will start returning from December 2021. As per the international students arrival plan, 120 students will be coming each week in stage 1 of this plan. And in stage 2, most students from other education providers like English course providers, TAFE, and private education providers will be able to return as well. Obviously, students will need to be fully vaccinated with the TGA approved vaccines as well, and they will be doing a mandatory quarantine at accommodation which is managed by the Victorian government's COVID team. And there will be a special priority given to the students who are going to do medical and health related courses, and students who will be doing a postgraduate research as well will be prioritized under this plan. Now next state is Queensland. So the Queensland government has recently announced that the students will start returning from January 2022 with an average of around 250 students that will be arriving every fortnight. So every 2 weeks around 250 students will be able to come back starting from early 2022. Students must be vaccinated, and students who will be arriving in Queensland will have to do a mandatory quarantine as well. Once they arrive in Brisbane, they will be transported to a quarantine hub near Toowoomba. And Queensland government has also announced that students studying medical and allied health courses will be prioritized under this plan. The next one is South Australia. So South Australia actually got their plan approved while back in June 2021, and they plan to bring international students kept on postponing because of the outbreak in South Australia, and then some issues related to the cost of quarantine as well. But now it has been reported that the plan to bring international students in South Australia will start from December 2021. Under this plan, 160 students will be allowed to come in every fortnight, and they obviously will need to be fully vaccinated when they arrive in South Australia. But we got a major update regarding the quarantine of international students in South Australia on 26th of October. South Australian government announced that when they will reach 90% of fully vaccinated of the adult population, there will be no need to do any quarantine for domestic and international travelers, including international students as well. So that's a very positive news for the students who are arriving in South Australia for their studies, and not needing to do any quarantine will be a positive thing for those students. And students will also need to be fully vaccinated with the TGA approved vaccines. But there won't be any special priority given to any student groups or any specific courses students are studying. The next one is ACT, Australian Capital Territory. So in one of our recent videos, we discussed that ACT also announced their international student arrival plan starting early 2022. They didn't mention any specific month when the students will start returning back, but it is expected that it will be before the start of the academic year in February-March 2022. And there is no confirmation on actual numbers, how many students will be allowed to come back to ACT. Will there be a large number of students, or will there be a small cohort of students we don't know that information as yet. Obviously, students will need to be fully vaccinated, but they won't be needing to do any quarantine as long as they're fully vaccinated and they meet the testing requirements. And obviously, tests needs to be turning negative as well. And there are no special categories for international students arrival in ACT as well, which means you don't need to be studying any specific courses in order to be eligible for this program. Now the next one is Tasmania, Western Australia and Northern Territory. Now we're putting them all of them together because we haven't really got any major update regarding the international student arrival plans. Obviously, Tasmanian government did make an announcement that they will be opening up their domestic and international borders from 15th of December 2021, but they did not mention that if this plan was also including the international students, or will it still be only Australian citizens, permanent residents and their immediate family members. So we don't really have those specific details regarding international student arrival plan from Tasmania. Now Western Australia and Northern Territory haven't got any update at all when they are planning to open up their borders to other parts of the world, including international students. So for those states and territories, we have to wait for a while until we get any further updates from them. So all the students who will be arriving under these international student arrival plans will obviously need to be fully vaccinated. They'll have to do the mandatory testing before taking the flight into Australia, and they'll probably have to do another test as well when they are arriving in Australia. And in some states and territories, there are quarantine requirements as well that you have to go through when you are arriving here. Now over the last few weeks, there has been a lot of positive sentiment regarding the opening of international borders. And with all these international student arrival plans, there's also things they have mentioned that these numbers are just a starting point. Basically, the plan is to bring larger numbers as they see the success of these international student arrivals. Now, being working in this international education space, we would love to see more students returning back to Australia as soon as possible. Obviously, priority is being given to Australian residents and citizens at the moment, but once those numbers of Australians stranded overseas reduce significantly, we would love to see increase in number of these international students arrivals significantly as well. What are your thoughts on these international student arrival plans? Please let us know which city or state are you planning to study in the comment section below. And if you are looking for more resources on international students arrival, we got plenty of them on our website as well, including all the checklists, guide and plenty of other tools and resources. So make sure to check www.overseasstudentsaustralia.com as well. And we created this infographic chart on all the international student arrival plans as well. If you want to download that from our website, we'll put the link in the description below. And all the other useful links as always will be in the description as well. So make sure to check them out. And as always, thank you for watching. See you in the next one.